Hi, welcome to the Clueless Dad. My name's Dad, Joey. That's Gus behind the camera. Now, what we're going to do today, we're actually going to build some shelves to put up on the wall. You notice we got a whole bunch of Legos and stuff over here, and we need a storage solution. So we went to our friendly Ikea, bought some floating shelves, and we're going to install those today and put them up. So join us for this quick little project. I think you might find what we do useful and entertaining, hopefully, at the same time. First and most important thing when installing anything is make sure you have your instructions. This here is actually a little layout sheet. It's not quite the instructions. Maps on how to put these things together, we have the instructions, but here they are right here. So we'll come back to you here in just a little bit. Thanks for joining us on the Clueless Dad.
Action.
All right, welcome back. We came into a little hiccup here, and I'm sure this is going to happen to people that are buying IKEA furniture. It's not necessarily known for its toughness. Anyways, you got these little pins that are supposed to slide in these little slots here in the pieces of wood. We gave it a little too much force and snapped one of the pins. And so we're going to attempt to jerry-rig this and reattach the pin to this board here. The idea here is first get out this little piece, glue it and attach it back here, reinforce it with a small screw. I think that's going to fix the problem for us. So see what happens. What we're going to attempt now is we're going to try to repair this little piece here that's snapped. We found a very small nail. Now what we're going to have to make sure is that this nail doesn't go all the way through the board when we try to reattach it by nailing that thing back in. So we're going to measure very closely. I might have to take off some of the tip of this nail here, but I think that's going to be a good solution. This is a little finishing nail. You can see it sits nice and flush on that, so it should be able to slide in, and we should still have the same effectiveness as it had before. All right, so that's what we're going to attempt.
Okay, now.
So we took our nail, we shortened it a little bit. As you can see, I had to grind a new kind of tip on it there. So we're going to hope that works. The nail's a little bit shorter, just use the traditional old grinder. And yeah, so we're going to see what happens.
One.
So again, all we're doing is we're just taking this little nail here, we're going to put it in there, and we're going to hammer that thing in. We've got a little finishing hammer. It's not wanting to go in very easy, so probably going to want to take my drill, and we're going to take a very small drill bit and drill that in there, okay?
Okay, tell him what you just did.
I'm just trying to make that hole a little bit bigger to make it a little easier for that nail to go in. That's all we're doing there. So now we're going to attempt this again. Slide the nail through. Make sure that everything aligns where there's a break. Got it right there. There we go. Pin kind of fixed. I'm probably going to run a bead of glue around that too. Maybe some super glue just to make sure it's nice and tight, but I feel pretty good about it. What do you think, Gus?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so here's a finished one that we did. The first one, of course, we're waiting for the glue to dry. So just want to show you a finished product here. This is going to be our floating shelf that we're going to put the kids' Legos in here. So really the next step, we're going to build 3 more, and then we're going to put them up and show you how to do that. A few pro tips here. I'm not a pro. I'd use a mallet, and you want to use a flat surface. We're trying to bond these together or hammer them together on carpet. Carpet has a tendency to spring back a little bit, so it's not very effective. So I end up using one of the other pieces of wood from one of the other units here and use that to put it down here, and then just hammer those little brackets into place here. So anyways, here's the finished product. We're gonna build 3 more, and the next thing we'll be doing is putting them up on the wall.
1.
All right, so we're going to reattempt to put this thing together again. This is the one where it broke one of the little guide pins here. I think it's this one. So what we did is, of course, we put the nail in there, and then we reinforced it with some super glue. So I'm hoping that holds up as we, connect it to one of these other pieces of wood. So the way these work is you want to find number 1. Of course, all we're doing is following instructions. When in doubt, follow instructions. You want to make sure that all these pieces line up. So these little slots here, line up to each other when you're sliding these in. And you can kind of see these slots in the wood, that there's a large piece into us, and it gets narrower. Basically what happens is you slide those in and hammer this piece down, they lock into place. There's really no screws involved. So really quite simple. So we're going to build 3 more, and the next thing we'll be doing is putting them up on the wall.
Okay.
All right, now we're going to install the hanging brackets. This is what we're going to attach to the wall, and then these little brackets will snap onto this, allowing these things to give you that floating shelf look. So I'm not sure what these screws are meant for first. They might be designed to, I guess, secure this more snugly to this little bracket here. But it does say to put these screws in, so I'm putting these in first. This really is quite simple, this whole step here. The most difficult part is going to be placement of these shelves, making sure this is level and that you have a nice uniform look up on your wall. But really, do whatever you want. There's no rules when it comes to how these things are placed on the wall, as long as it's to your liking. So these are pretty simple. They simply just slide into the corner like so. You'll notice there's little corresponding holes that these little rivets go into. So same thing here. Again, it should just slide into place. These basically just push into the holes here. You can see that. Sometimes they're off just a little bit. You need to try to manpower them in a little bit. Person power, right? I'm actually surprisingly shocked how hard these are to push in. I have pretty big, strong hands, and I'm even struggling sometimes pushing some of these in. All right. So once you get these all pushed in, basically what you do is you take this little pin here and you just push it into place. And these are kind of stubborn, so you got to push hard. So next part will be probably mounting it on the wall.
What you're doing.
All right, so what we're doing now is we're using these templates that are provided by Ikea to figure out our placement. Now it's important when you're doing this, so you make sure that even these templates are nice and level. Then what I just use a simple thumbtack like this, poked holes through where I wanted to put my drill bits, and so when I take these off, I know exactly where to put my drill. Now it is important, I think, to at least put one of these things into a stud. So I have a stud finder that I was using here. You'll notice that the holes that I need to use are actually not on a stud. So I'm going to go get a drill and put a hole through that, or a self-tapping screw, and get at least one of these screws into a stud. That way it's nice and steady. And so once that's done, basically the shelves, those little brackets I put in there, you'll just go right on the top of this, it locks in, you're good to go. So pretty simple. So we're all done. Thank you.
Go.
So there's a finished product right there. Turned out kind of good, I think. Great place for the kids to put their Legos. This is kind of what the plan is here, and there we go. Perfect. Anyways, wasn't too hard. Once you got the brackets on, they just kind of snapped in place. Anyways, you can kind of configure these in any way you want. That's kind of the way we decided to do it, so we have like an extra shelf here. So, and of course, some extras up here as well. So anyways, we're all done. Ikea shelves, floating shelves. Pretty simple and easy. Hope you enjoyed that short tutorial. It was the first time we ever built them, so anyways, it's a learning curve for everyone. Thanks for joining us. Okay.